New this morning on the Capitol Watch, with 2020 ending, it's time to look ahead to 2021. That goes for our lawmakers, too. Now, they've been busy setting their priorities for the 2021 legislative session, which starts on January 11th with Governor Brad Little's third State of the State address. So what will the big issues be this time around? Well, expect to hear discussion on coronavirus, property taxes, education, and roads and bridges, to name a few. On this week's Viewpoint, Republican Speaker of the House Scott Bedke and House Minority Leader Ilana Rubel lay out their party's priorities. The Speaker says one topic that will come up early in the session is the balance of power, specifically the governor's executive power when it comes to dealing with crises like the coronavirus pandemic.
The legislative branch has been largely locked out of all of the process that happened this summer, and the vast majority of the legislators that I've talked to, both House and Senate, feel that there needs to be some resetting of that balance of power, specifically in the area of elections. If we're going to change the method, manner, date of an election, we feel that that should be a product of the legislative process. Now, that doesn't lock the governor out of that process. He's an integral part of the legislative process, but the legislature needs to be dealt in instead of dealt out on that kind of things. Also, the state received an unprecedented amount of federal money this year, and the appropriation process is constitutionally vested in the legislative branch, yet we were not around to do that.
What are the Democrats' top priorities this session?
Oh, we've got a long list. Certainly we would like to see some of the education cuts restored. And actually, we have concerns about some of the budget cuts across the board. We had a pretty lean budget already. And when the governor cut it an additional 5%, we're really concerned about whether our agencies are going to be able to do the things they do. And particularly in the area of education, where we have educators that have been asked to do more than they've ever been asked to do before in a more dangerous circumstance. At least at the outset, we're asked to take pay cuts for that. We need to make sure we're maintaining our schools in as good a state as possible. And frankly, probably we need to add to it. We're 51st in America on education funding, and we're having a heck of a time recruiting and retaining educators.
Speaker Bedke and Representative Rubel also discussed their other top priorities and what they believe should be done with the projected $630 million budget surplus. You can watch the full interviews on Viewpoint this Sunday morning at 6:30 on KTVB.